Hello heathens and welcome to my channel. I am Beauty Heathen and my channel is dedicated to exploration of paganism. Sometimes I do readings, sometimes I delve into the more educational content through the beauty aspect, and sometimes I demonstrate ritual work or I give demonstrations on different tools and things you can use magically. So today, I know I've been doing a lot of pick-a-card readings lately, but I wanted to do something a little different today. I felt it might be a nice little change of pace to kind of do a reading to see what kind of universal shift is going on right now. As we know, there's been a lot going on in 2020. We have, in the first 4 months of 2020, seen and experienced a lot of things. So I get the feeling, and many other intuitives will say as well, that all of us feel like this big huge shift is occurring. So I figured it might be nice to try to gauge what kind of shift that is and what kind of world we might expect to have once the shift has more settled. I'm not going to say after the pandemic, because I get the feeling the shift is going to take potentially even longer than what's currently going on with COVID-19. So I just figured it might be a little change of pace, something that would be interesting. There are more readings that I wanted to delve into, but I'm feeling like tonight's not the night for them. You'll probably get an idea of what they are next week. So let's see where to start. I have so many decks. I'm feeling drawn to the Energy Oracle. Oop, do not fall. They're all rather precariously placed. I do feel like I'm going to need that one in a bit, but let us start off here. So, what kind of shift is occurring in the universe? And namely, primarily on our planet. Interestingly enough, while I'm shuffling these cards, I'm getting a very big, I can't really put it into words other than all I see is plant life and greenery. Not quite sure what that means, but we will see. And of course, while I'm shuffling, I've got something in my eye. Don't you hate it when that happens? One more. Okay. Angel of Strength. Sorry, whatever is in my eye, it's really giving me a annoying little aggravation. So, Angel of Strength, Deceit, third chakra, fourth chakra, man holding a coin, intuition, angel of love, goddess of the moon, temple path. So right off the bat, with angel of strength, I get the feeling of a more I'm trying to figure out how to put it into words. People generally being nicer to one another. More people finding they have more of a unified path. Deceit and goddess of the moon stand out together for me. I get the feeling that a lot of things that have been hidden are going to come to light. You know, it's one thing that I always say, that it's pointless to lie. It's pointless to try to deceive or hide things from people, because no matter what, someone's true nature and the truth will always be revealed eventually. Let's see. I see an opening of awareness with the crown chakra. People's intuition is getting heightened. With fourth chakra, I get the feeling of healing of familial wounds and traumas. The temple path indicates that there is going to be more movement into a spiritual awareness, which also coincides with, ironically, goddess of the moon, which speaks about intuition, as well as the seventh chakra with Archangel Uriel. Let me look up the, I think it's the sacral chakra. I want to see what keywords coincide with that. If this is your first time tuning into a reading on my channel, one of my faults is not having all of the chakras straight. It's funny because I can do heart, throat, third eye, and crown, but everything below that tends to flummox me. Golden light. Okay, so this indicates an increased enthusiasm. I get the general sense of people being kinder to one another, especially with the angel of love coming up. Man holding a coin, I get the feeling that there is obviously a shift happening in the economy and the world of finance, especially with things that are going on right now. But I get the feeling that the aspect of money is going to take on a new and different meaning. Now, what exactly that means right now, I have no idea, but I get the feeling that previous preconceived notions about money and the economy and how things work is going to shift on its head and transform into something new. like there's going to be a new approach to money and a new approach to the economy. Let me pull a few more. Yeah, I get the feeling that more of the people who have not been very good in the world are going to start coming more to light. You're going to see hidden agendas come to the foreground. You're going to see revelation of hidden motives and intentions. Yeah, see, there's that money. More universal healing coming into the foreground. I do get the sense that things are going to shift more towards helping the environment and doing things beneficially for the environment again. They were during Obama's tenure, and then of course things got... But I get the feeling like some of that is going to come back into the foreground. I get the feeling there's going to be more of a feeding of grants and loans when it comes to green businesses and helping the environment and protecting the environment and building technology to help undo a lot of the damages that have been done, if that makes sense. Let me pick these up. Let me pull out the Divine Animals Oracle. Now this is a very new deck for me. If you've not watched any of my previous videos, I literally just got this deck this week, so I will likely have to look things up. You know what is one thing that I would love to see that has always been something that I've dreamed of doing, especially if I ever won the lottery or became affluent in any way, is the people who are in the highest wealth bracket helping those in the lowest. One thing I've always wanted to do is transform some of the closed buildings and you know, where businesses go out, especially the big businesses, and transform it into housing for the people who cannot afford housing on their own, and primarily for the homeless, so that they can have some way of rebuilding their life. set them up with programs for those who want to learn different things. Set them up with not just health care, but mental health services. One thing I've always wanted to do is build city parks that have food and produce growing, and maybe give people jobs to help maintain it, so that those in inner cities that are in food deserts can have access to produce. Companionship. Three more shuffles, and then I will lay more cards down. Ironically, the dog with companionship, I always have to sort of internally chuckle at that whenever that comes up in any kind of readings for me, because that's my Chinese zodiac sign. Raven, news. Chameleon, change. So yeah, a huge transformation is going on. Fierceness, Wolverine. We may, in this transformation, in this transition to new way of life, we may see some fighting happen between countries. How in depth and how bad it's gonna be, I can't really see, but right now I don't get the feeling that it's going to be so, like, I see fighting, and maybe, I don't want to say war, because I just don't get the feeling of it being a long, drawn-out thing, but it could just be countries with their leadership being at odds with one another, making idle threats and that kind of stuff. Snake is creation, yeah. And rhinoceros, moderation. Yeah, I do see people supporting local more. I know the world economy is going to go through a shift. What used to be important isn't going to be as important anymore, and new priorities will come to the foreground, which ironically is something we're already starting to see happen. Now, I don't know how true this is, so do not quote me on it. Do not go based off of my word. I did see something this week which popped up in my head when I saw this, that major news stations are going to start revolting against airing certain updates from the White House, I guess you could say, in an effort to protect the American people from having misinformation. I see the how do I put this? Okay, I took journalism in high school. It was not my best subject, but I'm just going to give you an example. Back in the 1950s or so, I believe, we had a very well respected journalist by the name of Walter Cronkite, who always brought the news in a very balanced, very neutral, and very he always checked his sources. He always made sure that the information he was presenting was accurate before he did so. He was a man of extreme journalistic ethics and morality, and he was extremely well respected in his field. In recent years, we have seen journalism go from being that, where people check their sources and make sure the information they're presenting is accurate before doing so, fall by the wayside in lieu of being the first one to have the story. And what I'm getting from this is that things are going to start to shift back into the media and news sources starting to go back to having some sort of journalistic ethics and making sure things are accurate again. Maybe not from the big media corporations right now, because again, they are privately owned, and as such they have their own biases and things of that nature. But I get the feeling that there's going to be a media source coming up into the foreground that's going to gain a lot of traction, and a lot of people are going to like their news because it will be more neutral and more balanced and fair. And other media sources, seeing the popularity of this, start to follow the lead. I don't get the feeling that this is going to be immediate. You may start to see something start in the next 5 years, but I get the feeling it's not really gonna come really popular until maybe 10 to 12 years from now. Let's see. With regards to jobs and everything, I get the sense that there's going to also be a shift in the types of jobs that there are. Obviously, we see this starting already. Jobs such as helping to take care of the elderly, I get the feeling there's going to be a shift in that field, where even if you're not medically trained, you may be hired on just to keep people who are elderly company. I keep thinking back to companions and caregivers, where people go into the house and they bring them food and they sit and they talk with them. But I get the feeling of that being an expanded program. In what way, I'm not sure right now, but something to do with water. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something to do with water. Sorry, I'm trying to tune in. I don't know why I keep seeing waterfalls. Literally. Waterfalls. I almost wonder if there's going to be some sort of shift in the bottled water industry. I don't know if that's what this means, but I get the feeling like something to do with water industry-wise is going to be big. I can't put my finger on it, but I get the feeling like there's going to be some sort of shift. More eco-conscious, more eco-friendly. I know some of the things that I'm sensing and the things I'm saying won't be able to be validated for several years to come, but I just want to kind of intuitively sense what kind of world we are making. This one has been kind of calling out to me. This is the Raven's Wand Oracle. I love this deck. It's beautiful. It's just very hard for me to shuffle because it's such a large, tall deck of cards. I can almost hear somebody sarcastically in the comment, "Don't go chasing waterfalls" by TLC, but so if anybody does comment that, but it's not, I don't know. I keep seeing rushing water. I'm gonna have to look after this to see if there's some sort of tectonic plate shifting going on, because I almost get the feeling of countries moving a little bit. Sweet Temptation. Taste Before Judging. Time's Arrow. Ebb and Flow. The Gift. Strength Renewed. Nature of the Beast. And Family Matters. I'm going to try to do this without looking at the book. Overall, I get the feeling of, with Sweet Temptation, I know this card has a different meaning, but when I pulled it, I got the feeling of farming, of gardening, more cultural awareness, sharing of culture. Not appropriation, but sharing. People having more consciousness about the fragility of life and not taking time for granted. Having appreciation for the things we have. Going back to nature somewhat. Restoration of some kind. I get the feeling that a lot of the environmental things that we've seen, the forest fires, the droughts, all of that kind of stuff, it has very much been the earth trying to rebalance itself. And in doing so, I get the feeling that, of course, we've seen a lot of chaos. I don't think it's over yet. I think we're still going to see more. I even get the feeling like there may be a volcanic eruption of a volcano that has been pretty dormant. I can't exactly tell where. So the planet is still trying to go through some sort of rebalancing, but I get on the other side of that, once it's found its equilibrium to some degree. I mean, we're always going to have bad weather and storms and tornadoes and all that stuff, but it'll be more calm. And we're going to see a shift and prosperity coming back in. I almost get the feeling that we're going to see more of a shift to tribalism to some degree. That's what I got with the Family Matters card. To explain what that means, especially for anyone who's new to my channel, hasn't seen my previous content before. We, all of us walking the earth, come from some sort of tribal ancestry. We all originated as one people, and while there were a few different forms of early humans and early hominids, primarily, we've all come from essentially the same group of people. And through migration and through time, the environment shaped and caused a change in cultures, a change in race, language. All of that kind of stuff was developed from the environment around us as our early ancestors migrated from place to place. And with that came a lot of spiritualism. A lot of different cultures, a lot of different religions hold the same fundamental belief systems and hold the same ideas where it comes to animism and life having meaning. And when we talk about monotheistic religions such as Judaism and Christianity and to some degree Zoroastrianism, although that one hasn't been as prevalent, but the other one is Muslim, we've been seeing a lot of these monotheistic religions take the foreground in recent years. And I get the feeling that through a lot of this, we're going to see people reverting back to ancestral belief systems, which we've started to see already. We've seen a lot more people turning away from organized religion and going back to pagan beliefs. Now keep in mind that pagan does not solely mean witches and cauldrons and all of that kind of stuff. Anyone who does not adhere to an Abrahamic belief system is pagan. And that includes Native Americans, that includes Buddhism, Hindu. There's many, many, many world religions, both organized and not. And spiritualities, both organized and not, that fall under the pagan umbrella. And I just get the overall sense that we're seeing a shift happen where people are reverting back to that ancient ancestral beliefs. Spiritualities and modalities. I'll forewarn you, the Christian church especially is going to fight like hell. You may see some issues with that. I'm just trying to channel information while I'm shuffling. I'm gonna hope that we're not going to see a reversion back to like the Crusades when we saw the Christian church enforcing religion and forcing tribal communities to convert to Christianity. Unfortunately, it's an ongoing process right now. Cycles and rhythms, Maeve. Honor the cycles of your body, energy levels, and emotions. Yeah, we're going into a different cycle. Mother Mary, expect a miracle. Have faith that your prayers have been heard and are being answered. Yamanya. Golden opportunity. Important doors are opening for you right now. Walk through them. For anyone watching this video, I want you to do your best to pay attention to signs. Because I get a big feeling that a lot of people are going to be led down paths to things, experiences, careers, lifestyles that they may not have previously thought were either possible or may not even have been thought of for them. So, going to something that I've frequently said, the universe gives us signs when it wants us to go down a certain path. If you pay attention to those signs, and they frequently come in 3, because the first time we may miss it, the second time it's like, huh, that's a coincidence. The third time is kind of like a knock upside the head, like, hey, pay attention to this. That when the universe gives us signs, they're trying to gently guide us down paths that we may not have previously seen for ourselves. And I get the feeling like that's going to be happening a lot more in the next like 5 to 6 years, where people are going to have big changes happen for them and shifting to things and paths that they previously never saw for themselves. So I'm putting this out there now so people have that in their foreground thought process of, I've seen this once. I've seen it again. Oh, look, there's a third time. Okay, let me pay attention to this. Because I'll warn you, it's when you either don't pay attention to them or you get stubborn and say, no, I don't want to do with X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to be stubborn and continue on some other path that isn't necessarily for us, that the universe will beat the ever-loving crap out of you and drag you kicking and screaming until you go down the path that was meant for you. I've had that happen to myself, in case you are wondering. Artemis, guardian, you and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. Damara, guiding children, so keep an eye out for children who seem to be more universally aware and maybe messengers. Transformation, butterfly maiden. Arakura, blossoming. You are just getting started, so have patience with yourself and the process and do not give up. And Sekhmet, be strong. You are stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome. I just see the world being a very different place in the next 5 to 6 years. Like a very, very different place. Let me pull out the last deck that's been kind of beckoning me. See what it has to say. This is another newer deck for me. It's the Blessed Bee deck by Lucy Cavendish. Let's see what it has to say to us. This is another one that's a little bit difficult for me to shuffle because of the size of it. I do see a return to the arts. Nope. Come on. Be kind, behave. I don't know why I see Broadway opening and being prosperous again. But I get the feeling that's going to be on the sooner end. I just got like this sense that whatever's going on with this virus, we're going to see something happen with that. Like I see not necessarily a cure per se, but something groundbreaking happening in the medical community, be it a really good, strong treatment for it. It could be the vaccine. I just see something, someone's going to have like an aha moment and find the answer and have it work. And I get the feeling like that's going to be in the next 12 months. One more. 12, 13 months. Again, we'll see if any of this comes to fruition. So it's going to be a blessing of air. Interesting how she has all that foliage around her head. A blessing to heal a relationship. I get a lot of people are going to be healing generational traumas, and a blessing for those who are nearing their final breath. See, that kind of goes in line with me seeing a lot more compassion and caregiving happening for the elderly. A blessing to find the truth, the things that are hidden coming to light. A blessing on friendship. A blessing of protection. A blessing for good work. And a blessing of forgiveness. Feeling 3 more. A blessing of the waters. Interesting. A blessing on your day. A blessing on your love. One. A blessing on your boundaries. That kind of coincides with that tribalism that I mentioned. Like, there may be more tribalism, but I get the feeling of the tribalism that's there is going to work more hand in hand with one another than being divisive. Cleaner world, I see a lot more greenery. I still wish I knew what was going on with the water. I can't quite sense it out, but it's one of those things I get the feeling we'll know it when we see it. But yeah. Anyway, I hope this reading has maybe potentially given folks some sort of hope and some sort of idea as to what to expect in like the next 5 to 15 years or so, and the shifts that are going on and what we can have a sense of what's going to happen and come to fruition with that shift. I hope that this reading may have given you some hope, or may have given you some ideas as to where to put your energy. Keep in mind, enterprise and economy is going to be very different than what it is now. And I think a big part of the reason why this virus happened is to start facilitating that happening. To what ends, I can't say, but just look for those signs, pay attention, because I do see, like, the people who are in the top percentage, all the things that have worked for them before for making money are not going to work anymore. And that's when we're going to see people lower finding those opportunities and building their way up. And I get the feeling a lot of the people who are going to build their way up are going to be more not only environmentally conscious, but humane to their fellow man. Helping the little guy kind of thing. So, keep an eye out for opportunities, keep an eye out for possibilities and areas to go in. Do watch for signs. I do hope this has been helpful. Please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and set the bell to all to be notified of when I release new videos. Before you leave, it does help me grow my channel, and I do appreciate your support so very much, and I thank you for watching this. And yeah, I wish you the brightest of blessings, and until next time, blessed be safe, be healthy, and good tidings to you.